So good, Adele. Welcome to Spark TV.
Yay, thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here. Let's start out by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
Yes, I'm Adele Hollywood. I'm a brand story and copywriting consultant, and I help heart first business owners and solopreneurs to showcase their quirks with naturally different words. So, my whole philosophy is kind of based around quirks. So really, that's just the details that make us different. And I really believe that we just need to be doing more of this and leaning into those details. It might be the path that you've walked to get here, or it might be your values, your personality. In this AI age, we just really need to be leaning into that human behind the brand. That's the stuff that I believe connects us to our customers who are reading all of this robocopy and the chat GPT stuff, which is really same. So my approach is, bedded in story and quirks, and I offer brand story, strategy, and copywriting support in that way.
That is so good. And I just love that you use the word quirks because, I was chatting to somebody the other day and we were like, in this day and age where everything is saturated, right? Like
Mhm.
there's a million businesses in every different category. The way to stand out is by being you.
Exactly. Yes. Like everything has been done. We're all delivering a similar service, maybe not so much a product that might be really different, but the way that we can stand out is just really tapping into, okay, like what is your emotional narrative? How did you get here? Like maybe that's the highs and the low moments, or those like aha moments that you had. Let's talk about that, because there's someone out there who'll feel really seen when you share those details. I think we can feel like we need to just be talking about what our product or service does. But I think getting into that why and showcasing, that we're really human, that you can know, like, and trust us because we're just like you, is where the magic starts to happen.
Yeah, that's so true. And I mean, you think about stuff that you buy, it's always about that, isn't it? It's always about how you connect to the business owner or the brand, or, I always think about go-to skincare.
Yes.
And it's like so hilarious. I buy it and I don't even know if it's good.
Yeah. But obviously, like, you've got that emotional connection already. They're funny, they're easygoing. You feel like you feel a bit seen when in their copy. Their copywriting is amazing, as we all know.
Mm.
It feels like you're just having a chat with them when you read about their product. Like, oh yeah, I get that. They've broken it down in a way that maybe a friend would tell me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all buying emotionally. We all know what we want. We've all done our research. I think we're now at the point where we're like, okay, who's behind this website? One of my not it's not a pet peeve, but it's like it's a lost opportunity when you visit someone's website and you go to their about page and it's like, oh, but what about you? Who is the person or the people? When did you come up
Mm.
with this idea, and what spurred you to do that? Because often that's where we feel like, oh, I can really get behind this person. I feel like, yeah, I can root for them and their cause, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's such a trend, like Gen Zers especially really want to buy from personal brand led brands. So
Mm,
you're so right. Like it is a missed opportunity. I know there's so many people that say, I don't want to be in the spotlight. Like I
I
don't want to
know.
be the face of the brand. But I'm like, cool, but you are a pretty big marketing channel.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like it's low hanging fruit. When we want to
Mm.
differentiate ourselves from the competition, we can get really bogged down into, positioning and um, what is it that you do that's different. But how about like just leaning on yourself, on the founder, um, on your why, because that is what people are craving as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, it's actually funny. I always get cranky with women in business because as a part of Spark, like my job, I consider my job is to just tell the world about more women in business.
Yeah.
So I'm
Love that.
constant, yeah. I love it too, secretly. So I'm constantly like trying to find more female-led brands, like list them in our directory, shout them out on social media. And the amount of times I'm trying to hero a brand and
Yeah.
there's nothing about the female founder on their website. There's no like headshots of them on the internet that I can pull
Oh,
off. Like
yes.
there's just nothing about. I'm like, oh, like put yourself out there, women.
I
Seriously.
know. I know. Something just I feel like the word I use is sticky, like get those sticky details out there, but
Yeah.
it can be really hard. And I think we both know that. Like it is so
Yeah.
hard to start sharing that information and share it in a really compelling and easy to read way. And that's
Mm.
where story comes in. There's lots of different story frameworks you can use. But to your point about people not doing it, um, I think it's really good to have someone, and that's the role that I offer, is just to witness, like, tell me
Yes.
about you. I'll ask some questions, I'll dig a bit deeper, I'll pull on a few threads, and then suddenly we're like, oh, that's the gold nugget. Like, that's actually a really interesting thing about you. And they might say, oh, really? And then when you expand that out, and you write it down, it actually can re-inspire
Mm.
founders in their business, as well as then inspire their dream customers. So I feel like it's such a process that we don't really go through because we just get busy talking about what we do. But that story, that emotional narrative, is really tricky to write on your own. So it's nice, even if you just talk to a friend and say, what do you think, like, I should mention? What are the things that you love about me that maybe others would too if I, spoke about that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's such a good point. I think you're right. Like we don't think we're that impressive and we
Yeah.
don't think that we kind of go, oh yeah, everyone's been through that. And it's like, no, that's like literally
Yes.
amazing that you did that thing. But sometimes you're right, it does take somebody else to kind of draw that out of us.
Yeah.
But it also, I think, makes it easy once you've got that story to just lean on it a little bit. Like it's like talking points in PR.
Yes.
It
Mhm.
just helps you go, whenever I'm having this chat, if I say this, this, and this, it will resonate. And it's kind of the
Exactly.
same. If you know your story, you
Yes.
can write better copy, write better social posts, write more emails, talk to people, and just keep reinforcing it when you know, oh, this is my special sauce.
Exactly. Such a great point, because your brand story can just be this one long form piece of content, but then it can become an overlay on a video. It can become a speech. It can become, just as you said, when you're doing a podcast, oh, those are the kind of 3 or 4 key chapters that I might talk about that make me who I am, have made me kind of build this business the way that it is today. So it helps you to be memorable as well. And yeah, I think doing that in a really safe and like sacred space with someone and working that out can give you so much confidence. And then, as you say, it makes writing copy and content so much easier when you know, oh yeah, my values are this, my positioning statement is this, and these are the lessons I learned along the way that I know my dream customers see themselves in. So, because writing copy and content is so hard. Like,
Oh my
I mean,
God. Tell me
like
about it.
the everyday grit of that, like, where do I start? But with your
Mm.
strategy bedded down, and I like to call them like your soul statements, and your story defined, which your story can feel like such an abstract, intangible thing. But once you kind of nail it down, then you're like, okay, I'll just start with those two things and make sure that messaging is reflective in the Instagram post I'm writing, or, little bits like that. Whatever
I
makes things easier. And that's my mission in a way. Like, let's do this big picture thinking, and then you can go away and hopefully the everyday comms that you write are flowing a bit easier.
I love that. So how did you even get into this?
So writing has always been my jam. I think a lot of writers might say that. At school, I was the girl that was like, I'd rather write an essay than play sport, like absolute nerd dork vibes. And then from high school, went into a professional writing and publishing degree, and then into a 12-year comms career.
Wow.
So pretty linear in that way. Like, writing all of the things, and cutting my teeth in government and private orgs. And then linear up until then, I had a baby. And then
That
I
will
was,
do it. That will do it.
yeah, I think it's a tale as old as time. Like you're sitting on the couch with this baby, you're trying to get to know, your world is really different. And I'd stepped off that full-time kind of hamster wheel of work, going in, being an employee, getting a paycheck, not really thinking much about it anymore.
Mm,
And I was thinking, okay, like, I don't really want to go back to the office, like having that anxiety about, can I even use my brain in the same way? Like, will it work? The team will have changed, just all that, yeah, anxiety about going back, and then wanting to stay closer to home. Like, how can I, like, thinking of anything, like, what can I do where I can be in the home a bit more and closer to my child for pickups and drop offs and watching them grow. And my son wasn't settling into daycare when I went back after mat leave. So I was back in my permanent role for only 3 months before my partner said, you mentioned, freelancing, and why don't we just give it a shot? Like, let's see how it goes. So I just made the leap, which was really
wow.
scary, like quitting a permanent government job in this day and age. But yeah, I haven't looked back really. I just kind of got on with it. And for the first year, it was really hard. I was a full-time stay-at-home mum. So I was trying to build this business in nap times or in the evenings. But I found it easy because I really loved it and I was really excited by it.
Mm,
The creative freedom that I could have after 12 years doing it, for someone else, going, oh, I can think about the way that I want to shape this and look for the clients that I want to work with. So I was really fueled by that excitement in the beginning, and which I still have. This very interesting push and pull of, I love this so much, and oh, I've got a parent now.
yeah.
I love my child, but I'm just full of all these ideas. And it's actually funny because without him, I would never have ever,
Mm,
ever thought about going into, building a business or being a freelancer. Just never would have. I wasn't surrounded, and I still am not, by those people. So it's,
wow.
yeah, it's ironic that way.
How do you maintain that excitement? So I often look back. So my first business I started, I want to say like 15 years ago when I was working in corporate. And I remember I was like, it was kind of like, so the corporate job was my baby. And I was
Yes.
like, I'd sneak off at lunchtime to do stuff and I'd stay up till midnight. And I was just
Yes.
like so excited about it. And look, I'm not going to lie, 4 businesses and 15 years
Yeah.
later, I'm a little tired. Have you done anything over that time to look after yourself, maintain the excitement, or has it just come naturally?
Yes, great question. I feel like I'm a total optimist, kind of glass half full person.
Yeah.
My energy is usually pretty like, yay, like let's, and that's just me. And I think it can annoy some people, my glass half fullness. But I feel like in a way that's really helped me to stay motivated and keep going. Um, as well as, yeah, as you said, I just love what I do, and seeing the impact that I can have working one-on-one with someone. So working in
Yeah.
government, in comms there, like, you were just churning out heaps of copy and content every day, and you never really knew kind of where it might end up or who was reading it. But working in small business, you get to sit down with this person who also has something they're really excited about, and you get to help them. And then seeing that come to life or work is so rewarding. So definitely that side of that, the nature of that work is really, fills my cup. Yeah.
That is so good. I love that. What was the biggest challenge then going from full-time work to freelance slash running your own business?
Definitely, as I said before, just that push and pull of,
Mm,
oh my God, like I really want to do this kind of full time, but I'm also a full-time mum. So just the balancing of the workload, maybe biting off a bit more than I could chew in the beginning, or over promising, like, I'll write that for you for no money.
Yeah.
And then
Love
maybe
that. We all do that. Yes.
and I loved it, but then I was like, this isn't sustainable. Then you
Mm,
feel exhausted because you're running around at a playground all day and you're like, oh, I've got to deliver that thing. So in the beginning, it was really relearning, not even relearning, just learning, okay, what does it mean to be a freelancer? All the
mm.
different hats you have to wear. You have to start thinking about money and pricing and making sure that it works for you. But yeah, could write a book about it. I think
Oh my God, you
really,
should. You should write a book about it.
I
You're a
think a lot of,
writer.
I think a lot of, yeah, a lot of women would agree. Yeah, it's the frustration of wanting to go really fast, but then also going, hang on, this is a really nice season of
Mm.
slowing down. And in a way, motherhood kind of taught me like, just surrender and do your best and be yourself, and it should kind of work out from there. But yeah, in terms of challenges, balancing that workload and oh, so many other things, learning all about money and things.
Yeah, money's
The
an
stories we
interesting
tell
one.
ourselves.
Well, like you said, like especially working for the government, consistent paycheck, you probably got pay rises each year, and then you start your own
Mm.
business and you're like, when does the paycheck come in?
Exactly. You're so used to being someone that, as you say, like has a paycheck and you provide and you pay the mortgage and things. And then suddenly you're doing this invisible work where you're at
Mm.
home all day with your kid and you've had a beautiful day, but it's been really exhausting and you just have really nothing to show for it. Like you're not earning anything in that regard. So then yeah, it's just the stories we tell ourselves. I think it's definitely better now that there's a routine. My son, finally, we found a center that he really enjoyed going to daycare at. So, I work 3 days a week while he goes there. He loves it. So, knowing that he's happy yeah, means everything as well.
That is so good. And I mean, yeah, it is a huge unspoken challenge, isn't it? Where you don't have the time like some people do, and you don't have the
Mm.
time of a full time job. You are constantly thinking about this little gorgeous human that you created that you need to make sure you look after. And then also chase your dreams and, follow this, business idea that you have. So, I love that, you mention how challenging the balance is because I think it's
Yeah.
a reality for a lot of women.
It is, yeah. And I think it's been such a journey of, as you would have heard a lot, I'm sure, like how interconnected business growth is with personal growth.
Yes.
And there's nothing like starting a business for learning more about yourself and meeting parts of yourself that you didn't really ever want to meet. Or, for me, a big one was like, oh, my kind of I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm learning to let that go a bit and go, done is better than perfect. That's definitely my mantra for this year in terms of getting
Mm.
ahead on a few things, and not killing myself over writing the perfect sentence and thinking that someone's going to hate me if it's not. Like we all deliver so much value as business owners, service providers, whatever it is that we do, in the kind of invisible things, in the way that we onboard someone or the way that we provide a customer experience. Like that's already brightening someone's day and making them feel seen, and maybe they're learning something from that. So yeah, it's been really good in that sense for developing as a person and going, I'm going to rise above that, or I'm going to see that and work on it.
I love it. Somebody did say that. Maybe it was a podcast I was listening to or something, but that yeah, business is the ultimate personal development journey.
Totally.
It's
And you don't know
why
that going in, and then you're like, oh my God, I've got to figure
no.
out how to build a business And I'm meeting parts of myself that I hadn't met before. Like I'm doing all this shadow work. What's happening?
It's so true. I think so many people start a business because they're just good at something. You know,
Yes.
they go, "Oh, I'm amazing at whatever, insert skill here. I should start a business around that." And
Yeah.
then they're like, "Oh, no one told me there was all this other stuff that you have to do that is not even the thing that I love doing."
Exactly. And it's also foreign to us if you've not grown up in a family of, where there's an entrepreneur or someone that started a business or have a couple of friends doing it. You're like, oh, like tax and well, I mean, we all do our tax, but business tax and GST and I think what makes it's so special is then meeting people like yourself and going, oh, I see what you're doing and it's amazing, but also how hard, like WTF is running a business. So, and the way that everyone kind of supports each other and the honesty and camaraderie is so special. Yeah, it's
I don't know if you could
inspiring.
do it without it. I don't think I could do business without the communities
Yeah.
that I am a part of and that I have built. I'm like, I agree. It's, yeah, you just have those moments where you're like, because I guess in the social media world too, we see the outside of everyone's
Yes.
business and we're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. How will I ever get there? And then you like talk to them and they're like crying because
Yeah.
it's so hard. And you're like, oh, okay, we're all going through the same thing.
Exactly. When you find a community, whether that's like one or two women or something like what you've created, where everyone can lean on each other and share their experience, it just normalizes it a bit. And we go, oh, we don't have to be perfect at all the facets of running a business. We just need to keep each other afloat and
Yeah.
supported enough that we still have that passion for the really beautiful, unique thing that we're really good at, like our zone of genius. And the rest we can learn um, as we go.
Oh my God, I could not agree more. I love it. So, I always love to wrap up these podcasts with one last piece of advice. So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her
Yes.
business journey?
I think it would have to be one of my favorite quotes. So it's Elizabeth Gilbert, author of Eat, Pray, Love. And this isn't taken from that book, but she says, most things have already been done, but they have not yet been done by you. So I have that, on the wall. It's a permission slip to go, yes, everyone is doing all these things, and maybe you think that you can't, um, launch this product because there's already something similar, but it hasn't been done by you yet. And you
Mm.
offer such a unique take on things and all of your life experience and the why behind what you want to do is what will actually connect with someone out there who needs what you are about to create. So don't give up, don't get dismayed that it's not unique. Just do it and put it out there. And if you don't stop, you can't lose. So just little baby steps, maybe a couple of steps back sometimes, but yeah, just keep trying.
Oh my God, it is so, so true. And it's so interesting. Before we hit record, you made a comment about these podcasts that I do that are, have a little wine edge
Ah,
to edge to them.
yes.
And it's so funny because I created it because it's the podcast I wanted. I'm like, I just want to have a wine with amazing
Yeah,
women in business. But I mean, over the years, I get a little flack from some people about wine drinking, right? Because not everyone, and I'm like, I just love this conversation that we've just had because it is that permission slip to do it your way and your people
exactly.
will find you, which is
Just
beautiful.
like I then proactively said to you, I love that this is about wine and that you're a
Yeah.
huge wine enthusiast. Me too, you know?
Yes.
So
I love
already
it.
it's that instant, like, yeah, I get you.
Totally. Oh my God. You are absolutely incredible, Adele. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom and your insights with the Spark community. That has been beautiful.
Thank you, Danielle. It's been such an amazing opportunity and yeah, great chat. Thank you.